You're listening to the Geekscape Network.
Time to fire up the VCR. This one's my favorite. That was gold.
Welcome to Analog Jones in the Temple of Film. I'm Steve.
And I'm Matt.
And we're a VHS podcast that looks at the trailers, box art, and behind the scenes. And this week in our final Stephen King video, we have Christine.
She is seductive. She is passionate. She is Christine, a 1958 Plymouth Fury with a taste for blood. Nothing you can do can stop her. Because how do you kill something that can't possibly be alive? Christine, body by Plymouth, soul by Satan, rated R. Watch out for her soon at a theater near you.
Now, Matt, Christine, was this one near and dear to your heart?
It was sort of. So my story was more, I always knew it existed because I was a big Stephen King fan growing up, watched as many movies as I could, but I didn't actually end up seeing this one until I was a teenager. So I didn't, I saw a lot of the Pet Cemeteries and The Shining. I saw this as a kid. I didn't see this one until I was a teenager, and I do remember the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, I like this movie, but I don't like it as much as those other ones. But over time, this one has definitely grown on me, and weirdly now I feel like it's the one I've seen the most.
Yeah, this is one I saw as a kid, and I got in trouble. Now, last week I mentioned that I had gotten in trouble for seeing this, and it's really not me that got in trouble for it. It's my grandpa. I saw this for the first time when my grandma had to go to church on Thursday night, so grandpa was watching me, and he's like, ooh, do you want to watch a scary movie? And me being 8, and I'm like, yeah.
Of course I do.
And I remembered the double feature. It was The Blob and Christine.
The 80s Blob?
Yes.
Nice.
The remake. So I bet this was probably 91, 92 on syndication on TNT or whatever.
God, if you put those two in a theater back to back, you'd sell out. Just instant sell out now.
Yeah, and it was, I remember my grandma came in at the very end where he was, well, maybe not the very end, but close to the end, where he's, the car is going after the fat bully.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandma got pissed that he was letting me watch that.
It's kind of a soft R, but it is definitely an R-rated movie. It is definitely not for kids.
Well, it's a good thing she didn't walk in on me us watching The Blob. She would have flipped her lid.
Yeah, especially when that kid dies.
Yeah. Oh, Grandma, what a divorce. But let's get into the quick facts on this. So, directed by some guy named John Carpenter. Never heard of him.
Probably the reason I've seen this so many times since.
Now, what's interesting on this is John Carpenter's name is on top of Christine, not Stephen King's like all the others.
Yeah, I think John Carpenter probably just had so much clout at this point that he could pull that. And I'm sure Stephen King, being a fan, was like, yeah, you can have the above the credit here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much the Christine novel was beloved. I don't know much about it.
This seems more like one that was adapt any Stephen King you possibly can to turn it into a movie, but the fact that John Carpenter slid in there, it was ooh, now this just got interesting.
Yeah, and the screenplay, well, obviously the story was, written by Stephen King, but the screenplay was by Bill Phillips, and I looked at his IMDb, and I don't see much. He does a lot of TV stuff, so I'm wondering how the hell he got to do this.
Yeah, maybe it was just a job.
It could be, because this was just a job for John Carpenter.
That's kind of how he ebbs and flows in his career, taking just jobs. But then he makes some fucking classics, which, to a degree, this might be a soft Carpenter classic, but this is a classic. I think people look back on this one pretty fondly.
I think they do, too. It's not one that, instantly comes to mind when you think of Stephen King or even John Carpenter. But it kind of has what we had last week in Salem's Lot. There's a lot of respect for this.
Yes, people really just light up when Christine does come up. You know, it's not one that comes up all the time. If you're talking about Carpenter, it's usually The Thing, Escape from New York, Halloween. But
and you didn't mention They Live.
They Live.
You son of
Those
a
are the
bitch.
ones that come up first. Christine doesn't come up till later, but when Christine does come up, people are pretty excited about it. And it's heavy rotation on TV. It screens sometimes, especially in the city here. People watch this movie.
Well, it's killer cars. It's just something about, like, where inanimate objects come to life. There's something goofy and campy about it that's fun.
Yeah, talk about just, like, the perfect combination of Carpenter and King here. The rock and roll, the 50s, like, this was a dream project for them to team up together on.
Yeah, and I bet they had a lot of fun picking the soundtrack for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's fucking awesome, too.
Yeah. So the stars of this, the cast real quick. Keith Gordon, I know I've seen his face, but I cannot recall what he's from.
He's directing a lot now, too. That's like... Well, actually, it's funny. Probably because they worked with Carpenter, you know, the greatest. Both Keith Gordon and John Stockwell are both directors now.
No kidding.
Yeah, I think Keith does a lot more kids movies. I think, if I'm correctly... no, I'm looking and seeing that he's directing episodes of Fargo, the TV series. So maybe not so much kids stuff. Maybe he did a kids movie somewhere along the way. Yeah, it looks like he's doing a lot of TV these days. And Stockwell...
Well, it's good TV, though. He did Leftovers, which I'm not a huge fan of that show past the first season, but it's very well done. And we have Fargo, which everyone tells me is really well done.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I've watched the first 2 seasons. It is wonderful.
I mean, good for him. And now John Stockwell is...
Blue Crush, Into the Blue, Turistas. He's been directing some just like schlocky summer movies.
Yeah, good for him.
I mean, he's making money, I'm sure. Yeah. So, and I'm sure he's having fun doing these movies, going to these exotic locations with beautiful people.
Right now, his IMDb picture, it looks like he has little tiny puka shells on.
So, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. So that man, he definitely did Blue Crush. He did a TV movie called Breastmen.
Well, he's in it. You've got an actor pulled up for him.
Oh, I got an actor. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Well, still, I mean, he was in Top Gun. He must have been like one of the side guys.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember.
Moving on to the last one, Alexandra Paul, and she was in a earlier movie of ours, barely, in American Nightmare.
Yes.
And for her, she actually kept her top on in this movie. So
yeah, she was super naked in that movie, right?
Yeah.
Well, everybody was super naked in that movie.
She was in the very gross beginning.
Yes.
So this is how she learned how to act on Baywatch.
Oh, nice.
And she was kind of rough to watch in parts of this movie.
Really?
Very TV.
I had no problem with her in this
there's a couple scenes I was like, yeah, this is TV movie. Because like, it didn't seem like she had a lot of emotional range. She was just like, what's wrong with you? This car's alive. And I'm like, acting. It was fun. I mean, she wasn't terrible. It wasn't like I was smacking my forehead.
Well, she's got great eyes, which will lead me segue into the cover of this movie. The one we're watching here.
Wow, nicely done.
I've been doing this a little while now. If you're a collector of the VHSs, you know there's about 100 Christine VHSs. And I've watched 2 of them. I've watched the old RCA Columbia one, which has like the red and black sidebar that all of the RCA Columbia has. And that one's just the poster. That one's just the car. But there was the later Sony re-release that is making the rounds. It's probably the one you'd find at the thrift store now if you were to go. And it is the one with her eyes in like the rear view mirror and then the car coming towards it with like this icy blue over it. This is a cover from 1999. And like I said, this is the one you're going to see if you go to the thrift store more likely. The other one is not rare either, though, so you actually might bump into either of them, but I feel like this one a little bit more. On the top of our cover here, it just says, from the director of Halloween and Vampires. And I know it says Vampires because it was a Sony movie that came out the same year that this got re-released, so...
Because not many people are advertising that he had vampires on his IMDb list.
Right. It's not one that he's super passionate about.
At least it's not Ghost of Mars.
Yeah, at least it's not Ghost of Mars, which Sony did put out like 2 years later. So, yes, from the director of Halloween and Vampires, John Carpenter's Christine, a Richard Kobritz production, and it's Carpenter's best since Halloween. Time Magazine. Now, that's a review.
Wow,
that's a real publication there, guys. Yeah, I like this blue cover. I like this cover better than the RCA one, actually, which usually the re-releases are kind of lame. This one's a good one.
Yeah, this one, they were trying. But I believe they were trying because this movie will sell.
Oh, yeah.
So,
if I had never heard of this movie ever and I saw this cover, I'd be like, mine.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, flipping it over here, we've got a couple stills. We've got Keith Gordon and Alexandra Paul getting cozy in the car. We've got the three of Harry Dean Stanton, who is fucking wonderful in this movie, Alexandra Paul and John Stockwell, and then the big still, which is, I think, the still they use for everything for this movie, is the car coming down the alley chasing the chubby kid. Yep. That is the still that is everywhere. Our other review is An Exceptional Moment in Carpenter's Career, Video Watchdog. Video Watchdog's a great one to read. If you guys want to read, like, good horror reviews, like, not like this shit that's all over the internet. You know, like my reviews.
I was wondering if you were going to...
Of course I'm going to dig on myself.
Yeah.
Video Watchdog is fucking awesome. I definitely recommend them. And they said it's an exceptional moment in Carpenter's career, so they liked it. Here's our description for the four of you that may not know what this is about. She was born in Detroit on an automobile assembly line, but she is no ordinary automobile. Deep within her chassis, right? That's how you say chassis?
Yeah, chassis.
Lives an unholy presence. She is Christine, a red and white 1958 Plymouth Fury, whose unique standard equipment includes an evil, indestructible vengeance that will destroy anyone in her way. She seduces 17-year-old Arnie Cunningham, Keith Gordon, who becomes consumed with passion for her sleek, rounded, chrome-laden body. She demands his complete and unquestioned devotion. When outsiders seek to interfere, they become victims of Christine's horrifying wrath. John Carpenter brings Stephen King's best-selling novel to life in this chilling thriller.
Yep, I'd rent that.
Yeah, down, sold. Give me a copy. Oh, I just turned it over to the side, and the side is the still of the chubby kid running.
Let's never learn that chubby kid's name either. He's just going to be Chubby Kid.
Yeah, unfortunate chubby kid. But I'll make fun of him. Like, don't make fun of chubby kids, guys, but make fun of this guy because he's an asshole. So.
I was a chubby kid. You got to make fun of him. Well, I mean, because he's an asshole.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Not all chubby kids. This chubby kid.
This chubby kid is an asshole. If a kid's an asshole, he's an asshole. It doesn't matter.
Yes. So let's pop this baby in because we get no trailers. Boo. All 4 movies this month. Boo.
Yeah, weird. But, you jump right into the Stephen King.
And now, our feature presentation.
That's right. And we get bad to the bone.
The assembly line scene is awesome.
Yeah.
Talk about just throwing you into the movie.
Now, and this was before this song was just beat to death.
Before the Terminator movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever, I forget who wrote this. It's,
Thurgood? George Thurgood?
Yeah, George Thurgood. Man, they make a lot of money off this song.
Yeah, especially from this period through the 90s. They were
so
just...
much. They were even in the Chipmunk movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at that point... If I'm them, I'm taking that money, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll take everyone's money.
I would, if I had a hit on my hands, whether it's a song
Sell
or a
out.
movie, doesn't fucking matter. I'm selling out so quick, you won't even see me. Like, I'm like the Roadrunner. I'm just gone.
Make your money, kids.
Yeah.
Make your money.
Always say yes.
So we start in 1958 with Bad to the Bone playing while the car is going through the assembly line. And immediately we get someone's hand smashed in the hood, and then we get a dead body in the car because he ashed on Christine.
Yeah, I love this scene. And just talk about This even on the VHS where it's the pan and scan, Carpenter just at the top of his game right after The Thing with that like awesome anamorphic widescreen, even though it's smashed down to pan and scan. The confidence in how good this movie looks from the get-go.
Yes.
Like, if I saw this in theaters for the first time, I'd be like, fuck, I'm watching a real movie.
And then we move straight on to 1978, Rockbridge, California. And I was like, oh, they got rock in the name.
Yeah,
this movie rocks.
And they couldn't probably get Castle Rock. They were like, Carpenter was like, we're doing California. That's my spot.
Yeah. We meet nerdy Arnie. We know he's nerdy because he has glasses.
Yeah. And he fumbles around talking to girls. But he's friends with the jock, John Stockwell.
Friendly jock, as I call him.
Yeah, nice guy jock.
Yeah.
They probably grew up together.
Mm-hmm. And we find that the mom is mad because I guess he's taking shop class. And why would you be mad about that?
The 80s. I don't know.
But they're trying to, like, set her up as an overbearing mom.
Yes.
And it sort of kind of works. It's almost like Carpenter just got kind of bored with it throughout the film. He's like, whatever.
Because it is dropped.
Yeah,
you know, it's like
basically.
they're concerned about Arnie as he gets the car and he's working on it all the time and it's like basically possessing him. But once like the shit really hits the fan and the murders start happening, we don't follow back up with the parents. That's just dropped. And it's fine because I don't care.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because then we get on to so many wonderful quotes in this film. They're like, number one, it starts off with he's talking about, Arnie, we got to get you laid. And he starts talking about all these girls he could, possibly get laid with. And then he's like, I'm not going down on her. You know she doesn't shave. And he says, what do you care if you get a little hair in your mouth? And I'm like, 80s. I love you. I love how just inappropriate you are. And I just want to hug you because you're just so gross.
Yeah.
Dog's chasing the cat. At school, we meet Kelly Presley for a second.
Are you talking about what's happening in the room or what the quote is all about? Hey!
Now I can't cut that. We get to meet Kelly Presley for a second.
Yes, Kelly Preston is in this movie, and she is just as stunning as ever, but like just shows up for a second.
Yeah, and then bye, Kelly.
Yeah.
Because we got to move on to the new girl. And the new girl's name is Leigh. And she not only is Leigh pretty, but she's smart.
She's the 80s dream girl.
That's right.
She's sort of like reminds me of, but totally it's different, but reminds me of the girl from Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah, I could see that.
80s perfect dream girl.
Yeah, I mean, the girl next door, she's super smart, super pretty.
Yeah, super smart, super pretty, super nice.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so she's the perfect Reagan girl.
Yeah. Yep.
That's who we're still looking for that, Matt. Where are we going to find our... I'm kidding.
That's back to the they live, consume, reproduce.
Yes. Ever tell you about the time I put that picture on my Facebook post and people thought it was like a real... Like I was taking a picture of a real advertisement.
Oh.
And they're like, where is that? I'm like, oh, come on, people.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. That's where it is. Put on the glasses, man.
Again, we get a great quote right away with, man, she might have a brain of a... I don't know what they say, but eventually he says, but she's got a body of a slut. And I was like, 80s.
80s, gross. Yeah. Hilarious.
Because I cracked up. I'm like, God, they're just really hitting it hard.
Yeah.
With, like, what year this is.
But, like, testament to the filmmakers here, writer and director Carpenter... These guys are still likable. Like you were bummed when Arnie starts to get possessed, and like when Dennis is, kind of bummed about him getting possessed and gets injured and everything like that. You feel for Dennis too. You like these characters.
I do, and I also will say something that like high school boys say fucked up shit, and this doesn't sound like anything different that they would be saying now. Is it inappropriate? Yes, but I was in a locker room. I heard inappropriate things. It was mostly words. Most of us wouldn't do shit, but we would say stuff where you're like, oh, we shouldn't say that. That's why it's funny.
Well, yeah, you want to gross each other out.
Yeah.
Really, that's what it is.
The topping of each other.
Yeah, it's like, what's the grossest fucking possible thing that I could say.
And then when the girl would walk by, you would shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you would be like,
were a wuss.
Because you were a little worm, and you would just be like, I can't even look at her in the eyes and say anything. Yeah, that's just the way it was, unfortunately.
And then Arnie gets picked on by a 30-year-old in shop named Buddy.
Yeah.
This guy is so old.
Yeah, it's the kid that doesn't graduate because he's such an idiot, and the ultimate 80s bully character again here.
First of all, he has a switchblade in school. They call him a chicken shit for having a switchblade, but he's getting in Arnie's face, smashing his food. Like, I don't understand what Arnie did other than, hey, it's 80s movie.
It's an 80s movie, and he's a fucking nerd. We gotta beat him up.
He tells him to shut up, you cunt face, and I was like, Jesus. That's fine in the UK, but you can't say cunt in America.
Yeah.
Everyone will look at you funny.
Yeah, that's how you know. That's how you know you're dealing with a grade A bully here.
That's right. I feel bad for saying it for this movie, but I have to.
I say cunt sometimes, but usually it's referencing Republicans. So.
Oh, I knew you were going there. I fucking knew.
Usually, it always is.
And then Jesus, he threatens the teacher, and he just gets suspended for a day.
Yeah. Yeah, basically that's all it. But like, I feel like they don't know what to do with this kid because they're like, if we kick him out of school, he's just gonna go to jail. Yeah. So like, they're like, we gotta like suspend him or put him in detention or something. But like, we gotta keep a short leash on this kid because this kid's destined to like, kill somebody and end up in jail.
And then right before he leaves, he goes, "I'm gonna get you, Cunningham," and I'm like, "Whoa, did he call him Cunningham?" Like, Jesus.
The first time I saw this when I was like a teenager, I was like the right age to see this at. I remember laughing so hard at that. Like, that was the pinnacle of comedy when I was 13, that his name was Cunningham and he called him Cunningham. Yeah. And I was like, genius.
Luckily, the next scene is we get introduced to the car really fast. And because they're driving home, Arnie and Dennis, super nice jock, and Arnie spots that car from like 50 yards away and is just like, I must have that.
Yeah, he falls under Christine's spell. He's got to talk the owner into getting it. The owner is like, it's a junker, but I want, $200 or whatever for it, or $300. A lot for 80s time. And he's doing it. He wants it. He has to have it. He has to have this car.
Yeah, and the weird, creepy old guy who I don't know what the hell he's wearing, but it's ridiculous.
We've talked about it in every episode this month, but talk about the character ripped right out of a Stephen King novel.
Completely. I mean, we even have the old man in Children of the Corn.
Yeah, the creepy old man that knows more than he's letting on, that's going to tell the horrifying story later. Mm-hmm. Like, this is just so Stephen King right here.
And then, of course, he has to have an inappropriate line.
My asshole brother bought her back in September '57. That's when you got your new model year in September. Brand new she was. She had the smell of a brand new car. That's just about the finest smell in the world. Except maybe for pussy. When he got her, she had 6 miles on the odometer. Goddamn Roland went through hell and back with Christine.
Your brother loves this car so much. Why is he selling it?
Because he's stone cold dead, that's why.
Because he's like, they are smelling the car, and he goes, there's no smell like a brand new car. Well, except for pussy. And I was like, oh.
The hits just keep on coming in this movie.
And he gets that car, and his mom fucking hates it. Even though this boy is showing responsibility. He is buying the car and rebuilding the car. I mean, this is what you're supposed to do. He's a good kid, and they're all, like, shitting on him. Like, his friend Dennis is like, what are you doing buying this piece of shit? And then his dad's like, well, do what your mother says. And she's just like, Arnie, you're a fucking, I hate you.
Yeah, it's all about, like, grades, I think, for the parents. And they're like, oh, he's going to be distracted from his academic studies, which is another, like, 80s trope that, like,
maybe he wants to be a mechanic.
The studies have to come first and not the labor. It's all about the A's and the B's in the classes.
Yeah, they must have told this actress playing the mom, they're like, just be awful.
dial it to 11 because
Yeah.
she's just like screaming at him.
Then we see him in the mechanic shop, Will's mechanic shop / junkyard, and for some reason Will instantly hates kids because I guess he's old.
Yeah, he's an old man in the 80s. He doesn't trust or like kids because they are lazy and they get in the way, and
the kid's about to rebuild his car and he's still calling him lazy.
Right, exactly.
But he also says you can't polish that turd. But it seems like Will likes Arnie later on because he gives him a job. He lets him work in the shop.
He's just being a hard ass. That's all.
He's not as likable, this old man playing, he's not as likable as he is in Gremlins 2 or Last Action Hero. But I do
Where
like
he
him.
plays the same character in all 3 films.
Well, except he's an old man that's like really nice in those.
Yeah, it's true. But he's still, he's like curmudgeon-y, but he's nice to the kids. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you find your role, stick with it.
Yeah, stick with it. I fucking love him in Last Action Hero.
Or he's just like, gotta rip this ticket and it's magic and he's just so much fun.
Yeah.
And let's see, Dennis asks out. Oh, Dennis gets some. Dennis goes after Leigh, and Leigh just is like, no, I already got a date. And later on, we find out that's
It's
because
Arnie.
Arnie.
Arnie gains some confidence when he's got the car and he's fixing it up and spending his time with the car. And we don't know if it's because he's doing something on his own for the first time or if he's like literally possessed. Later, when we see his black sunken eyes, we realize he's possessed by the car. But yeah, he's got this newfound confidence now.
Well, and then somewhere in there, we find out that the last owner of the car, which was the old man's brother, his daughter died in the car.
Right, and this is that Stephen King horrifying story told. We saw it in Graveyard Shift. We saw it in Salem's Lot. There's always a story told that's worse than what you're seeing on screen. And this is it. This is that moment.
Yeah, and then Arnie gets that thing rebuilt. It looks great. He shows up at the football game with it, which right when he pulls up, and then he just like leans on his car, and like Dennis gets fucking smoked because he's distracted, trying to catch a pass. But we see Arnie. He comes up and he's like, "What's up? Sucks about your leg. Hey, I gotta go try to get laid. Peace out."
Yeah, he's cool kid Arnie now. He's got the car. He's got the girl.
Yeah, and I like his line. He's like, "You ever think about it, man? Like, part of being a parent is just trying to slowly kill your kids."
Has it ever occurred to you that part of being a parent is trying to kill your kids? See you around, pal.
That feels like the most like John Carpenter moment in that movie. That's like a Carpenter line. He's like, that is absolutely ripped out of Carpenter, playbook there.
Yeah, and then we get pretty much Arnie is making out with Leigh in the car, and Leigh is very uncomfortable because she just feels some kind of evil presence about the car.
The car is jealous.
And then that car tries to choke her to death. And Arnie flips out on a guy trying to help her.
Right. Get off her, man. Don't touch her.
It's like, get off her, you old creep. And it's like, I'm just trying to save her life, you fucking douchebag. But I do, at this point, there is a lot of people mad at Arnie. Yes. But Arnie really hasn't done anything bad at this point. He's just coming into his own, and they're like mad at him for being cool.
Yeah, he is a little cocky, though. I think it's the cockiness where they liked who he was before.
Well, yeah, now they can't shit on him.
Yeah, I guess that's probably it. That's
like
probably
everyone hates it when a nerd becomes cool.
Yeah.
But later on, he starts to really establish that he sucks.
when the black sunken eyes happen, and it's like, oh no, you're fucked.
Well, the thing where I was like, okay, now he's starting to show it is like when he's taking Leigh back home, and then he gets mad at her for being sexually frustrated.
Yeah.
Or that line comes out, and I go, okay, there's Carpenter finally starting to like. At first, I think he did it on purpose. He was just like, these people are mad at him because now he's cool, and they can't, just pile on him. And then he starts to like really cut in to Arnie's like persona. With that line, and then him yelling at his mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
After, I think, because the bullies then just destroy his car.
take a shit on the fucking dashboard. I'll never forget that.
Well, because they don't show it, right?
No, they don't show it, but there's like, he took a shit on the dashboard.
But yeah, he gets really pissed at his parents because they make him park the car at the garage. They won't let him keep it at their house.
Right, and he's like, well, if y'all would have been able to keep it at the house, this fucking wouldn't have happened. And he's like, fuck you, Mom.
He's probably correct. But
yeah,
yeah,
he's also probably right.
Yeah, but then that's when you really start to see him change.
Yeah.
I mean, not only did they do it, physically with the eyes and the clothes and everything, but now it's his personality.
Yeah, now he's becoming like aggro. He's like aggressive now about it. He went from like cocky to like aggressive. And
he chokes his dad too.
Yeah,
remember?
he like the dad is like, hey, watch your mouth, and he just like snaps on him like he's gonna fight him. Yeah, this is very well paced out, I think, the way this is handled.
Yeah, this movie's what was this, like 100 minutes?
111, so it's almost 2 hours.
Okay,
and it flies by.
Yeah, it's good pacing. I mean, that's what Carpenter does. He paces it with the music really well.
That helps it. That pulsing Christine beat is quite wonderful. If you play that throughout this podcast, they're actually more listenable.
It's true.
But don't. Make them suffer.
Christine and Arnie. He tries to build Christine, and then the saxophone music starts to play kind of like a seductive, and he's like, show me. And Christine rebuilds herself.
That's my favorite scene in the movie. Like, I love that. Like, when you just like, show me. It's because the music... It's because the editing of that scene is so well done. This is Carpenter flexing here. This is him going like, yeah, I know how to make a fucking horror movie, and like, it's so good.
Well, it's kind of like, have you ever seen the movies where like two people are about to make love and they undress in front of each other, where they're just like seductively looking at each other?
Like
this was like
like those Tony Scott Top Gun sex scenes where like everything's blue and everybody's like perfect and naked. Yeah.
This felt like Christine was putting back on her clothes though. And he's just watching, getting off on it.
Yeah.
And then later on, we see Christine take out the chubby bully. Yes. And that is my favorite scene in the movie.
Well, I mean, it's iconic. It's all over all the marketing of the movie.
Well, it's so tense.
Yeah.
And it's how you do a building up to a killing of a character. Like, there was part of me where I felt bad for the bully, and I shouldn't. But he is, just an idiot dying.
Yeah, he's just a kid still. Yeah. You're like, fuck, like, that's just a kid.
He's like, just a 26-year-old kid in high school.
Who can't graduate high school to save his life.
But, yeah, he kind of reminds me of the doofus in Animal House.
Yeah, that's what he looks like.
Yeah. I wonder if he picked him because of that or something.
Maybe.
I don't know. So, yeah, he gets smashed right into the whatever he's in, like a little alley thing.
Yeah, when the car comes down the alley and it's like, fuck it, I don't care if I'm going to destroy my sides, I'm coming to kill you. It's so threatening, and I feel like that's the point at which like the movie stops being like cheesy killer car movie and is like, oh fuck, this is like real deal threat here.
Well, yeah, because it seems like all that is plausible. Other than, a car being possessed, like he chases this dude down and smashes him with a car.
Yeah.
And at that point, we don't know if Arnie's in it.
Right.
So it could be just the car doing all this.
Exactly. We have no idea. But yeah, now like the threat is real.
Oh God, the in-camera effects in this movie. Mwah.
Wonderful.
Oh, so good. Arnie visits cool kid. Or Arnie visits Dennis, and he's just like, I'm totally cool kid. And he's a dick.
Yeah, he's like a dick to Dennis now.
For no reason.
That's like, what's up, man? Like,
and doesn't he leave him a giant book?
There's something with a book, yeah.
Yeah.
There's something with a book in this scene. I don't remember how.
That definitely feels like something Stephen King.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, you're on a, just hanging out in a hospital. Which, by the way, how much would that cost their parents? Jeez.
Yeah, right. He was there for a while.
Feel sorry for their bills. And then eventually Arnie bumps into Detective. I don't know what the detective's name is.
But it's Harry Dean fucking Stanton.
And he's great. So a lot of these kids are, like the beginning of their career, and they're I would say just above TV movie sometimes. And then other times it seems like they really capture the moment. But he elevates this movie. Like when he's on screen with these kids, they get better.
So what do you want, huh?
I really like this shade of red, Arnie. Didn't think they still made this anymore. Do they? They still make this shade?
Well, they must. I mean, I bought it, didn't I?
Where?
Baker Auto out on Route 5, okay?
You still got the receipt.
Tossed it out.
You know, it's funny, cigarette?
No, thanks.
Usually when somebody trashes a car, we get photographs.
Oh, wait. They didn't really trash it, okay?
Well, that's not what Leigh said. As a matter of fact, she was so shaken up, giving me all the details, she broke down crying. I understand one of the perpetrators defecated on the dashboard. Now, I would have thought you'd be madder than hell at that, and I would have thought you would have reported that.
Shit wipes off.
Moochie Welch kind of got wiped off, too, didn't he?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Scout's honor?
I'm not a scout.
The kid was cut in half, Arnie. They had to scrape his legs up with a shovel.
Well, isn't that what you're supposed to do with shit?
Yeah, the acting between them is so good. And I like, it's fun to watch him kind of spar with Keith Gordon a little bit when he's interrogating him.
Yes.
But I think it's more fun the kind of like odd couple duo of Dennis and him when they're like both confronting Arnie.
Yeah, it's I'm like when he's on screen, everyone gets better.
Yeah.
It's like they have to elevate their game, and it's really good scenes because when him and Arnie are just going back and forth, he's like, "Well, shit wipes off," and he's like, "Well, that's funny because your girlfriend, she's not my girlfriend." Like they're just like back and forth.
Yeah,
and he knows that he has Arnie.
Yeah,
like Arnie, I know you're fucking lying. You can keep doing this. I just need to prove that you're lying. That's like all the underneath in this, between the lines. It's great.
Harry Dean Stanton makes like sort of the choice, and it's not something he does in every movie. He makes like the choice to kind of do everything with a smirk in this movie, and it's kind of wonderful. Like he's like, no, okay, I'm smarter than everyone else in this room right now. Like, and he does the whole performance kind of like a little arrogant, but like so likable.
Yeah, Arnie, after all this, tries to get Leigh back. It doesn't work. And then Christine goes after the older bully and the kid from Ghostbusters. That's all I know him as. His name is Rich, Stephen Tash. He's the kid that gets electrocuted.
Yep. The cards.
So the car goes after them. And this also, great scene, because the car chases them down. They try to confront the car. Christine smashes their car and this kid into a gas station, and it fucking explodes.
And then the best part, the payoff, is getting to see the car on fire.
Yeah.
Just driving away like a badass. Like,
this car will get revenge no matter what.
Oh, God damn it, this movie's so good.
And he runs down the switchblade bully that's like 40 years old.
Yes.
Probably more closer to 35. Let's say 35.
And this is like when it's revealed that like Arnie's in the car.
Yeah.
Too. Because you don't know for a while. And then like, yeah, he's there. And that's when you see the black sunken eyes too.
And Arnie's like, yeah, he's like possessed.
Yes.
You have a feeling that he doesn't remember anything.
Right.
I mean, they kind of reveal it too later on. Because the car returns to Will's garage, just burnt to a crisp. And old man Will gets his shotgun and looks in the car, sees no one, and then Christine just crushes him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's getting a little too close here.
Getting a little too curious.
Like, because really the old man doesn't do anything.
Well, he has a shotgun pointed at it.
But he does. He just gets in and like looks around the car.
Yeah.
But Christine's like, I know what you're going to do. So
he senses that this car is evil.
Yeah, and does Christine ever rebuild herself after this point?
Well, yeah, it's back to it. We don't see that scene, but like it's back to normal when we see it again.
Oh yeah, that's because Arnie comes back the next morning because he has a alibi of getting parts the night before, and he didn't bring them in. He's gonna wait till morning because he was tired. And this is kind of even where Harry Dean Stanton's character is confused, like
because it's in one piece, yeah. But he still has that smirk, like he's like, I know you're up to something.
I know you
may
have
not
something.
have, you've something to do with this.
It's really good. I just love every moment of him being on screen. And then let's see. Oh, that's right. Leigh and Dennis meet, and they're talking about like what's up with Arnie and that car. And this is where Leigh really tells him something's wrong with that car. It's alive.
Yeah.
And Dennis, it was kind of interesting because you think Dennis would be like, oh, you're crazy. What's wrong with you? Of course it's not alive. But they do. They plan to go see it in the garage and to eliminate the car. But first they have to... Dennis hangs out with Arnie. Was it New Year's Eve or something?
I don't remember.
I don't know. Anyway, it's where Dennis finally decides, okay, Arnie is gone. He's losing it.
Yeah.
Because when he's in the car with Dennis, Dennis does the exact same line. Arnie does the pussy line again.
Yeah.
Oh man, there is nothing finer than being behind the wheel of your own car. Except maybe for pussy.
But it's gross now. You liked him before, and now you're like, oh, you're a fucking skis.
Well, it's like it's fully done.
Yeah.
He's fully changed. Leigh and Dennis break into Old Man Will's garage, which is basically just everything's gone in it now.
Right.
So you have this giant empty space, almost like a battlefield. And then they get into a bulldozer, and they plan on destroying Christine. But Christine surprises them first, and then tries to run down Leigh. But Leigh does some gymnastics to kind of get away. And Dennis takes the bulldozer, kind of like moves the bulldozer over her to protect her from Christine, and Christine doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, Christine just keeps coming anyway.
Yeah, it's great. This whole fight.
Yeah, the bulldozer scene is fucking amazing.
And then finally the car crashes and Arnie flies out because the bulldozer and Christine go face to face, probably about a good half football field away, and you see Arnie's face.
Right.
And that's when Dennis realizes, oh fuck.
Well, he realizes he's gone. Like the Arnie he knew is completely gone.
But he smashes into another part of the building, and Arnie flies out of the window, is impaled by a shard of glass, and instead of like saying something where he's sorry or anything, he reaches over to Christine and rubs the logo of the Plymouth. I was like, damn.
Yeah, he's gone up to the very last second.
Well, I mean, it's a beautiful car. I mean, you're going to see plenty of Leighs in your life, but how many times are you going to see a Plymouth Fury?
In Christine. That's probably the only time I'm going to see that car.
And then we basically have an aliens fight at the end. We have a bulldozer versus a car, and they fucking crush that car while Rock and Roll Will Never Die is playing.
Yeah, which is also fucking amazing.
Love it.
Way to use music because, you know, this isn't like the Tarantino way to use music where you're enhancing this. It's coming from the car, but then it is also enhancing the scene. So this is genius.
Oh, it's so good. And then the next morning we get Harry Dean Stanton and Dennis Leigh standing in the, dump. And then we see one last shot of the car being alive, possibly.
Yeah, like the antenna moves.
Yeah.
Slightly. Just slightly.
This is so much like an 80s thing to do.
Yeah.
You gotta get that one last little... I wouldn't even call it a scare. It's just something.
It's the wink to the audience. Like, back in the day, kids, when movies used to do this, it didn't mean that there was going to be a sequel. They would just do this to fuck with the audience, and I loved every second of it because this wasn't setting anything up. This was just like, Christine's never going to go away, and that's the ending, you know?
And
it's great.
It's great. This whole movie, I mean, it's kind of obvious, but I would say both of us very, very, very much recommend Christine.
Yeah, it's just sort of like low-key, like we mentioned her at the top. it's just low-key a classic. Like, you don't bring it up with the bigs, but it is up there for sure. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's... you even if you didn't like this movie, you would have to love the in-camera effects. It's just beautiful.
You gotta love how it's shot, how Carpenter decides to frame everything, the rock music. Like, there's so much to like here, even if you don't like the movie overall.
Yeah,
wholeheartedly recommend. And honestly, like, this is one too you could watch on VHS and DVD. Obviously, we want to recommend probably the Blu-ray to get the full Carpenter widescreen anamorphic effect, but like, it's not lost on the VHS at all.
No, this is actually a really good VHS. I could see it on my widescreen pretty damn good.
Yeah, it looks crispy in the best way possible.
Now, some interesting behind-the-scenes stuff here. Do you know they offered Kevin Bacon, I think, the dentist role, but he ended up not taking it because he went on to some movie called Footloose?
Oh, yeah,
never
that
heard
worked
of it.
That worked out for him.
Is that one of those stories about a kid saving a town through dance?
I think it is.
Well, that's the best kind of it's the best kind of dance saving movie.
That is the best kind of feet are loose.
There you go. Alexandra Paul, her twin sister, actually stepped in for her a couple scenes on this. I found that just really funny. Like, hey, look, another girl that looks exactly like you. Sweet. So if you're sick, we'll just put her in. So this was the second movie for Stephen King to be remade that had killer cars in it. What's that other one?
Maximum Overdrive?
Yeah.
And Trucks later?
Yeah, Trucks, which is not as good.
No. No one's going to argue for Trucks, but I can make an argument for Maximum Overdrive.
I can tell you I might be the only person on Earth to own a VHS of Trucks, but not the actual movie of Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum Overdrive is fucking hard to find on any format. I think the Blu-ray's coming out soon.
They're coming out with a special edition.
But until that comes out, it's a fucking hard one to find. I used to have an import Blu-ray of it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Maximum Overdrive is hard to find.
Yep, I have never seen it in the wild. Man, if I ever did, though.
Snag it.
Yeah. All right, that pretty much ends all of our behind the scenes of this. I mean, I guess one other thing is, obviously, this was not written by John Carpenter. And this started kind of like after Thing, because Thing was a financial failure.
And a critical failure, too. Nobody liked The Thing when it came out.
Because they're stupid.
Yes, and I can't wait we're going to talk about that in a second, actually, because we're going to talk about Halloween in a second.
So that would end it, but this started like a little bit, like, because he didn't do Starman, right? Or he didn't write Starman.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know that one.
This movie started like the new kind of era of his directing credits, where he did not write Christine, Starman, or Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes.
So he had to rebuild his credit.
He was basically, after The Thing was a failure, and critically and financially, he had to basically be a director for hire, and then didn't get to write his own movies until Prince of Darkness and They Live, which I don't think he's actually credited as on either of them, though. He has an alias on both of those.
Quatermass. Martin Quatermass for Prince of Darkness.
And it's like Frank Armitage for...
Frank Armitage.
For They Live, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He uses the fake names on there. It's not until later that he is the John Carpenter.
Yeah, it's very interesting when that happens to someone. But, it must have been a tough pill for him to swallow because, he was the creator, or, he's the main guy in Halloween to bring this to life. He created basically the template for slasher films.
Yes. He reinvented the horror genre, basically.
Yeah, so, after a while, they're like, hey, bud, we get it. You're really talented, but you're not making us enough money.
So we gotta just for hire.
Yep.
But you know what? He fucking got for hire on Christine and Starman and Big Trouble in Little China, and they're all stone cold classics.
Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China is just, I've seen that so many times. I love that goofy fucking movie. I love it.
What a tone. Just like what a pacing tone and everything in that movie. Just like, it's wonderful. I wish movies would take more chances like that.
Yeah. I don't know. We're trying to remake that for a while, or do a sequel, soft reboot.
It's still happening.
Is it actually
with
happening?
The Rock, yeah.
Oh, that's right, The Rock. Yeah. We'll see about that one.
No, I'll see it. I'll complain about it the whole time, and then I'll go see it, like I usually do.
Yeah. So let's go into the museum.
This is the second time I've had to reclaim my property from you.
That belongs in a museum.
So do you.
This is the part of the show where we put something good or bad in it. We're just like Indy, hunting and put something in the museum. Matt, what are you doing? What you putting?
Show me. It's in there. It's the best scene in the movie, in my opinion. I fucking love it. The practical effects are amazing. Keith Gordon's performance is amazing there. The lighting, the way it's edited. This is how you do a horror movie scene.
Yeah, I'm going to ride the back on that. All the in-camera effects with the car, rebuilding itself, or just doing all the... It's wonderful.
It's alive. That car is alive. You feel it. And it looks so real. It's so well done.
Well, in the book, they made the car basically being driven by, I don't know, some kind of like zombie thing, whatever. And which I kind of would have liked to seen that. I do like how they brought the car alive, and then Arnie's kind of driving it, and the car's kind of like, we have no idea why the car's possessed.
Right.
But in the book, they explained it. So I understand why they went with it, but apparently the whole reason they wrote out the entity inside of it was because of American Werewolf in London, and that had already been done. The funny sidekick that was alive and, doing all that stuff. And Carpenter says that this film is a comedy to him. Dark comedy.
It is a dark comedy, though.
So
I think that's why it works so well, and I think that's why it's paced so well.
But they wanted to steer clear of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I get it. Other than I kind of would have liked to see, like, a fucked up zombie ghost doing that.
Right.
But
if they ever remake it, maybe they would go that route so that it's not a carbon copy, but they won't. They'll just do a carbon copy and not as good and have CGI car rebuild itself.
Yeah. Please don't remake this. Just let it go. You're not going to beat it. Just let it go. Redo something else.
Or make something new.
That will never happen, Matt.
Fascinating concept.
Absolutely.
And I am not a person that is vehemently against remakes. I love a lot of remakes, but... you could try something new every once in a while.
Well, they did. You saw Skyscraper. That wasn't like any other movie ever made in the 80s.
Oh, God.
Die Hard. Die Hard.
Yeah. I did see Skyscraper. It was pretty boring.
It's kind of The Rock just doing what The Rock does.
The Rock does scale like a 40-story building like in one fall swoop, which is pretty fucking hilarious, though.
Yeah. I've heard the movie is so ridiculous.
It's pretty ridiculous. But it's not like Rampage ridiculous, where it's like kind of awesome. It's more just like, this is ridiculous.
Well, it's the most for China movie I've ever seen.
Yes,
for
the Chinese
other
audiences.
than the Great Wall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that should end this portion of the episode. And now we're going to talk about Halloween from 2018. And we will spoil it. So if you want to go watch the movie, go ahead and pause right now. Come back. So rate and review us on iTunes. Listen to us, all that. You know how it works.
Yeah, that's the end of that episode. But now, for the kids who have seen it, let's talk.
Let's do it.
The bus crashed. Michael escaped. He's waited for this night. He's waited for me. I've been preparing for this for a long time.
Can you close my closet?
He's here. We have to hunt him down. He will be killed tonight. Happy Halloween, Michael.
Rated R.
We're not going to break down this movie and everything like that. You know who's in it. You've seen the trailers. Even though I only saw the teaser trailer to this movie.
I did that on purpose. Anytime it would play in the theater, I would look at my phone or look down or something like that. I didn't want to see the full trailer for this. Just because I was so excited for it, and I didn't want... Trailers give a lot of stuff away, and I just wanted to go in completely fresh. I had seen the first teaser trailer, and it was fucking awesome, and I was like, yep, sign me up, I'm in. I couldn't wait to see that one, but then I was like, I'm stopping after that.
Yeah, and getting into this film, I really, really liked it.
Me too. I just had a blast. I'm a fan of the series overall. Obviously, there's some that are better than others. There's some that are a lot better than others in the series, but this is just a fun one. For me, you're never going to beat the trilogy. I love 1, 2, 3. You're never going to beat them in my mind. But this is like up there. I put it with like H2O, which I really like as well.
Yeah, I do like H2O too. Some people look at me cross-eyed when I say that. And I was like, yeah, that seems like just a perfect slasher movie. It follows the beats.
It's how you combine the Scream formula with the Halloween formula. It's fun. It's just a good time. I really love that movie. And then this one I rode on its wavelength, man. We're trying to do a 70s kind of thing. I think they got the right director to do it. David Gordon Green has done a lot of like 70s-ish dramas. So bringing him on to do this.
Did he do Pineapple Express?
Yeah, he also did. He did Pineapple Express, Your Highness, and The Sitter in a row. But then these like quiet indie dramas. So like he's just all over the map. But I think it was a really good directing choice for it. He gets the 70s aesthetic, but it's not like obnoxious either. It's not like we're doing a 70s movie, kind of like Rob Zombie's first Halloween was. Mm-hmm. It's not like that. But like watching this movie, because it ignores all the other sequels, it both makes me appreciate this current movie, and those sequels that it's ignoring. It's like, it just makes me love this series. It's a love letter to this series, I feel like.
I thought this movie was really bold, ignoring number 2.
Yeah, because, none of the others have done that yet. So.
Yeah, this was incredible to actually have the courage and the confidence that this will work. But, when you're going into a Blumhouse movie, you get a certain amount of money and you get, from what I understand, a lot of creative control.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of money, but you get a lot of control.
Yeah. So they took it, they ran with it. And this is how you make a lower budget movie appear like it's a bigger budget.
But also, like, the best service you could do to this Halloween series is making a low-budget movie.
Yeah.
Because the first one's scrappy, Like, I don't need a $40 million, like, Halloween Resurrection, Give me an $18 million scrappy...
Well, I mean, Resurrection is easily the best. So, a high bar.
Yes, right.
Fucking movie, I hate it.
It is my least favorite in the series. It is the worst in the series. I'll watch any of the other ones, and I won't watch that one.
I can't even laugh at that one. It's embarrassing.
It's just a bad movie.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, 6 is, like, kind of a bad movie, but, like, you just kind of ride along on its, like, weird vibes. Like, you're just like, okay, this is fucking weird, but I'm into it.
Another good thing about this new Halloween is it's not convoluted at all. It's very simple. Laurie Strode is waiting for Michael Myers to get out. Michael Myers gets out. She has been preparing for this basically every day since Michael Myers was locked up. And she even taught her daughter. It has affected their relationship. She's had 2 divorces. She is preparing for war.
Yeah.
She's got a trap for Michael Myers. She even says at one time, I prayed that this day would happen so I could kill him.
Yeah. Which is really fun to watch the character. I think I prefer sort of like H2O Laurie though, where she has like her shit together, and she's still like you kind of get to have your cake and eat it too with H2O, and then this one it's more just like I've got to give up my life, but I'm going to give it up so that I can get him, which is also fun to watch. But I think I'm leaning more towards liking H2O Laurie than this Laurie, but nevertheless. That's apples and oranges, and I like both of them. So
now, give me a broken character. I like a broken character who has been so affected by this that it is become, I don't know the word for it, but she's just like, it's a trickle-down effect. It has not only affected her, but it has grown out of her to
affect her whole family.
Poison her entire family and everyone around them. Because Michael Myers is pure fucking evil, and she knows it. And this whole town starts to pretend like he's not.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's been 40 years since the original
I think they're not pretending. They just did forget.
Well,
There's been enough distance that they're like, eh.
Well, you get the psychologists who come in and talk to Michael Myers, and they get no reaction from him. We're trying to learn. I think that's the whole thing. Is this movie's wrapped around? Sometimes it's just fucked up. There is no learning.
Right. There's nothing to take away from this. It's just like all bad.
There's been monsters throughout time, and sometimes they're just fucking monsters.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of this. Now, is that completely true? I don't give a shit.
It's
a
watch.
movie. Let's have fun with this movie, and they do it. They now the only little quibble I have with this movie is the doctor, to me, is odd.
I like the doctor here, actually.
I just don't get his motivation. Even though they spell it out for us. He just wants to feel what Michael feels when he kills someone. That rush.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Michael Myers feels the rush. It's just the doctor feeling it.
But yeah, the doctor's never done it before. Michael's just got it in his blood already. Like he was just born bad or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. But the doctor's fun to kind of watch because he is so squirrely. I think that's why I like him, because you never really, even at the beginning, you don't get vibes that he's a bad guy, but you get vibes like, this guy's weird.
Yeah, I mean, basically he's studied under Loomis, and I love how Laurie Strode calls it out. They're like, "Oh, you're the new Loomis."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Thank you."
That's how you do fan service. That's how you do it. You kind of make a joke of it.
Just make a joke of it, because it is. As soon as I saw him, I'm like, "Oh fuck, we got another Loomis."
But then she makes a joke of it, and it's kind of then all right. You're like, okay, I'm okay. All is forgiven.
Yeah, and there's just so much to like in this movie. And one of the things I thought was fantastic to watch was how they made the camera feel like it was you spying on all this happening. There are several shots where it is behind something, like behind a picture or in tight spaces, and then you're kind of like, it's like you're a voyeur.
Yeah, it's like the first movie, the opening scene is Michael's perspective. This whole movie feels like it's Michael's perspective, which is fun. It's just fun to go down that way.
They did a really good job creating atmosphere and tension.
Yeah. I like the 70s kind of feel about it. I liked the girls, the three generations of Strodes. I liked all of them. It was really fun to see Judy Greer in this, because I've seen her in so many other movies as sort of a character actress. So it's fun to see her kind of get a second build, part in this. And she's good. She's really good. And the new young actress, whose name I don't even know, is awesome. And I would like to see her carry on the franchise along with the other two.
Well, we never actually get to see Michael's body, so...
Yeah, there'll be more. There'll always be more. Yeah, I there is something...
I didn't like that.
Undercutting about the fact that, it's a really satisfying ending, but there's gonna be a sequel. It's
no.
It's satisfying ending, but with H2O, it was pretty fucking definitive.
Well, until...
That head was off.
Until they bullshit,
Pretend resurrection didn't happen, and that's a pretty fucking satisfying ending.
Yeah, it's really satisfying seeing Laurie Strode get revenge.
Yes, either in this movie or H2O, it works both times.
Yeah,
it's good.
So when I walked out of the theater, I smirked that they never showed the body, but at the same time, I'm like, just do it.
Yeah, kill him. Just kill him.
Man,
you can bring him back. It doesn't matter, but just kill him.
What I thought they were going to do is, I was hoping the house would burn down the next morning. They would, the firemen be putting out and everything, and she just, walk straight down there and just unload every bullet she had into his body.
Into the corpse.
Yeah, and so it would be now you're fucking dead.
Yeah.
But they're going to make another.
Yeah, it made a fuck ton of money, so we're going to see another one. But as long as they sort of put the same amount of care into this one as, into this obvious eventual next one, I'm down. Keep them coming, I'd say. If you can milk some satisfying stories out of this this one, I'll take it.
We'll see.
we'll see how it goes. I
well,
mean,
maybe the next one we can have a white horse in it and his mom coming. No?
That movie, though, because it's so weird, Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, is so much better, though, than Rob Zombie's original, because at least it's fucking weird.
I love how you're just out on that island, like, just waving your flag. You're like, I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck. I will wave the flag for Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I can't defend the first one, but I am championing the complete oddity of 2. It's so different. But the last thing I think we should mention about this is the incredible score.
Great, fantastic. I don't have anything really negative to say about this film. I have little nitpicks, but honestly, I walked out of this theater in a good mood. I was like, got what I wanted.
I got a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's all I wanted, Like, it didn't have to... I feel like some people were disappointed that it wasn't better than the first one. And I'm like, I don't fucking need it to be better than the first one. I just need it to be a good movie. And guess what? We got a good movie.
It was better than 4, 5, 6, and 9, so I'm happy.
Yeah. Not better than 8, though. Halloween Resurrection. It's the king.
Yeah, it's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I've had some problems, and like I texted you this after we were talking about this. The sort of fan reaction is already annoying the shit out of me, though, to this.
See, I'm not paying attention to it, because I watched the Rotten, and I want to hear, like, what yours, but because I looked at the Rotten Tomatoes, and I was like, basically, both the audience and critics like it a lot, so I'm like, I know that's not a perfect thing, but Metacritic has it high.
Yeah, no, and the reviews are good, and there are some, people championing it. But what seemed to have happened with this movie, and this is just, I follow a lot of people that write about movies, that make movies, and, a lot of people in the horror scene on social media. I'm friends with them in real life, and then there's a whole mess of them that I'm not friends with in real life and just internet friends with or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I follow all these people, and obviously this coming out was a big event. Like, Halloween was the horror event this week. And so when it first premiered in the festival circuit, it premiered at Toronto and then played Fantastic Fest and a couple other festivals along the way. The response was almost like earth-shattering. People were like, this is good. And then it seemed to come out...
Well, the rubber band effect.
And it was okay, people like this. I'm going to find everything to nitpick in this movie that I don't like. And then I'm going to enjoy the movie, but I'm going to say I didn't to, I don't know, sound better. Yeah, but there's a lot of it, and I called it like the hive mind theory when I texted you about it, because now there is this whole ball of people that are reiterating the same nitpicky things about it that they heard secondhand from somebody else that they don't like about the movie. And it's like, guys, a month ago you were in love with this movie. Now because people are in love with this movie, you've got to be the outcast and be like, oh, no, it was just meh. And it's like, no, you can not like this movie. That's fine by me, but I can see through the shit. I know these are people that are liking the movie that are trying to find every way to sound cooler by saying that they don't like it. And like I said, it's a whole mess of them, and they're all repeating the same thing that one person said at the beginning, and now they're all saying the same thing.
Well, I mean, I'm friends with a lot of those people, and I usually call them out on it. I'm like, yeah, you're just being an elitist.
Yeah, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm calling bullshit on this. Yes.
But if you don't like it and it's all on its own merits, I mean, I get it. Fine.
Yeah, you can not like this movie. It's fine. I am calling out the people where it is very obvious that the only reason you are saying you not like it is because people have said that they do like it. And it's very frustrating. There are some of the reviews I've read from some, writers at my level that are just like, just doing it on their free time or whatever. It's lazy, guys. Don't, I can see through your shit. It's not good. Just, you can not like the movie, but don't not like it because everybody else likes it. You know?
I've got something that we can all agree on. I sat by 3 of the most annoying fucking people during this film, and it got to the point where I said something. And I can be a little bit of a bulldog during these movies. If I hear something, I'm usually the person saying it that's making everyone else uncomfortable, but at the same time, you feel better that someone said something.
Yeah.
First, this dad. is 3 seats away from me with his 2 kids between them. He keeps getting on and up. He actually answered his fucking phone during the beginning of this movie, and I looked over, and he got up and he left. But he's talking the whole way down. And I'm like, I cannot believe this. Then he comes back, and he is loud. He is just like fucking a troll, or an ogre. And he sits back down, and when he sits, it's like, boom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
He's one of those people that has to make a scene that he is, in the room. Yeah.
So when Michael Myers starts to kill people after he escapes, he goes, okay, guys, call me when this shit's over. And he gets up and leaves. And I was like, good, you're gone. Great. Then his fucking kid next to me gets a phone call, picks it up, puts it underneath his hoodie, and starts talking. And as soon as the movie got silent, I go, are you kidding me? And the kid just goes, I gotta go. And the kid doesn't even acknowledge me.
Yeah.
He just puts his phone back in there. And then 15 minutes later, his little brother, which is just copying his father and his son, where they think their time is more precious than mine, it doesn't even turn off his ringer, gets a text message, and I just go with my seat next to me, go, and that kid puts his phone down. I was mad. Yeah. That pisses me off. If you do that around me, I will call you out. Yeah. Now, these are young kids, so they need, someone to remind them not to be a dick.
Yeah.
But the dad ain't ever learning.
No, that's the way he is now. He's just a piece of shit and is never going to change.
But that's a testament to how good this movie was. Because when this movie started the whole revenge thing at the very end, those kids never got on their phone. And I almost forgot that all that happened until you started talking about this movie's not good enough.
Yeah, it's not good enough. It's not the original. I don't know. I don't like it that much. I don't get why people are enjoying the film. It's like, let somebody like something if they like it. Shit.
Would Laurie Strode actually know how to do all that? Because she is a woman.
Yeah. That's the next layer to that one. That's what
I already
people
heard
actually think. Like, yeah.
After you told me what people were saying, I started to read some reviews, and one of them just was somewhere in that, and I'm like, oh, I hope your computer explodes. All right, we're gonna wrap this up though. It's been fun talking Halloween.
Yeah.
And I hope we get another really good scary movie coming out at some time. I know there's a bunch of them in the spring.
Well, we've got Suspiria and Overlord in a couple weeks, so we'll see how those go.
That one's not popular, right?
We'll see how those go. But yeah, thanks for listening to us rant a little bit about people's behavior during movies and people's afterthoughts of movies. But we really liked it. Go see it. If you are wanting to hear our opinion to decide if you want to see it.
I would say see it. You have to. Yeah. See it. And it was fun shitting on elitist and annoying moviegoers.
Yes, always. Always is. Pleasure doing business with you. We'll do it again soon.
All right. Be kind.
Rewind.
Hey, Toxic here.
And Meridon, too.
We're the hosts of the Overleague podcast.
Are you a fan of Overwatch League, or just a fan of Overwatch in general?
Well, if you are, we break down matches and all other Overwatch happenings, and we won't judge your main.
Tune in every other Tuesday to the Overleague on Geekscape and wherever you get your podcasts.